Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's how we're going to start now. We're going to start like with a grunt or something. Welcome to the Coders Startup. This is episode number, 29 now. And today we've got a good topic, one that has made a big difference in my business personally, and one that I hope makes a big difference in Carter's business as time goes on.
Me too.
So having said that, obviously we are joined by Carter, the Marketer Johnson. So how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man.
Cool. Now we have the topic at hand is going to be the topic of split testing, which probably does not come as a surprise to you guys because we talked about a little bit about split testing in the last episode and how we should do more on it. So here it is. We are following through as promised on our word, and we're going to be talking a lot about split testing. Now, before we jump into it, for those of you who are gracing us with your lovely presence via the video technology, you may notice that, hopefully, you will notice that our video seems clearer. So we've got Carter now, if he wants to say a word or two about it. He just got a brand new webcam. So
it's a 1080p Logitech HD. I'm just right there it's just so clear.
And it's like it's widescreen too. I can see more of the surrounding area.
Yeah. My normal backdrop of just like the office wall, it was so boring. I was like, I gotta flip around or something. So we'll likely see like housemates and anyone else. You see the pool table, the dogs. I don't know. You'll see a bunch of stuff.
It's a bigger view of how us startup founders do our thing and live in our environment. These are our offices. This is it.
This is no censors.
No censors. Yeah. This is home office. This is how it is. And in the trenches. Anyway. So, obviously, for those of you joining us just via audio, you're probably like, okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hurry up, get to the good stuff. So we'll get to the good stuff. Enough chit chat. So split testing is the topic at hand. If you don't know what split testing is, I suppose we should start with an explanation. So split testing is all about, there's really two different categories of split testing. There's the A-B split test, and then there's the other thing, which is we're just, A to Z split testing, if you will. I don't really know what the terminology is for it, but the point is that you're usually taking a sort of base version of something. Typically, it's your website, or maybe it's an email that you're sending out to your potential customers or clients or what have you, and you're taking what you already have, and then you're doing a test based on a theory that you have. Hopefully it is based on a theory, not just a random, I'm going to tweak this. Usually you want to have a hypothesis about something that will hopefully lead to a rise in sales and conversions in something, whether it's turning traffic into leads, turning leads into hot leads, or turning hot leads into actual customers, or turning customers into recurring customers, or buying upsells or something like that. Who knows? There's a whole bunch of different parts that you can test in your business to see if you can gain a higher amount of something, conversions, whatever. So I think conversions is the sort of base term, and this was something that was confusing to me back when I started as an entrepreneur. The term conversion can be used in terms of converting traffic into an email address, or turning an email address conversion into a sale. So it's kind of, it's weird, the different, terminologies and everything that works with it. I don't know. What do you think about that, Carter? Has that confused you at any point?
I'm trying to think the first time I ever heard the word conversions. Because, before I got into stuff online and more of the tech stuff, when I ran the moving company, you would still I'd still read about stuff that was more offline type business that was split testing and like conversions and all. And it probably was a little confusing first time I heard it, but I think conversions you can just really sum up as any goal outcome that you're looking for. So it might be, getting someone to come in your store, or it might be getting them to, complete a sign up form on your site, but conversion is just the goal outcome.
Absolutely. I even remember back to when I was working at the physical brick and mortar place. I worked at EB Games as a child, which was lovely. I was very lucky to get in there because my middle sister, of the two sisters I have, had a job there, and she was sort of high up, and she managed to get me a position as an employee. And I remember I was introduced to these metrics from the manager at the time, who kept track of, we had these counters that counts the number of people that come in, the foot traffic that comes into the store. So we can actually see what our conversion rate was in terms of number of people walking into the store and making sales. So that was like, I didn't even think about that until not this moment. I've thought about it before, but it wasn't until a little while, or recently, that I realized, oh my God, like I've been introduced to this concept of conversions and sales and all that stuff back when I was like 15 years old. So it's neat just to see how different companies do it, and because it's important to track these metrics, right? We've talked about knowing your numbers and how important it is for your business growth to really understand your numbers. So anyway, split testing is the art of changing something and measuring the outcome. So the best split tests, the ones that I love the most, are the ones where you tweak one tiny little seemingly insignificant part of your web page or your emails or something, and it just has this enormous impact on your bottom line. So for example, the best one I've done so far to date, the one that I will start off with, and the one that I think I've said before, is just putting in the word now on my call to action button. Just the word now. So when it was sign up for my course or sign up for my course now. When you put that keyword in, I forget, it was like a jump of 15 or 20% or whatever it was. It was just incredible. And to think that it was, 5 seconds, 10 seconds of work that, led to probably now an additional $1,000 or $2,000 in revenue for my business every month. Dollars per hour there is enormous. Like, an extra $2,000 for 10 seconds of work. What's the hourly rate there that you can, charge yourself? I don't even know. So, split tests are incredible. Getting back to my topic, and the point I was saying was, there's the A/B test, which is where you just test one base situation and then against one other variation. That's it. It's A, B, and then you test them and you see how they pan out, which one wins. And usually the question of which one wins is a, I don't want to say a hot topic or debate in the industry, but it's usually, I've said before, it's usually a good idea to test for at least a week. Right? You at least have the people coming through for a week, unless you're in a situation where your website hardly gets any traffic at all. If you're brand new and you get 2 visitors a day or something, then obviously you're going to have to go for a lot longer than a week. But you're looking for a good enough sample size. Typically, a great sample size is like 10,000 people. 10,000 people in a week would be a great situation to be at. If you can't get to 10,000 people, then at least at least 100 people, 1,000 people. I don't know. This is where your discretion comes in, where you are in your particular situation. If you've been split testing the same thing for a year, that's too long. Okay, even if you've only had 100 people, I think a year is too long. You need to do something else or leverage your time somewhere else. But that's the foundation of split testing. Does that make sense? Is there anything that I'm missing in that sort of rant, if you will?
No, I don't think so. You hit on a great question. Or you hit on something that I was going to ask, because the question, when's the appropriate time to start split testing? And I think you nailed it. It's pretty much up to your discretion, and it can be anything from 100 visitors to 1,000 visitors, getting your sample size. So
yeah. And I mean, obviously the earlier you start this, the better. Up to a point, obviously. So like if you only have two people coming in a day, then maybe now's not a great time to split test. Maybe now's a better time to somehow get those people to engage with you and talk with them on a one-on-one basis. That's when you can do things that are not scalable. When when you're first starting out. And I remember way back when I first started out, we're getting off topic here, but this is important to say. Whenever someone emailed me in any way, shape, or form, I treated that as gold, and I tried to establish and create a relationship with those people. And that's how I ended up landing. I forget his name now because it's been so long. It's been 3 years now, and I have unfortunately not followed through in my word there, and I have not kept in contact with this particular person. But he featured me on his podcast that he had. I didn't even know he had a podcast, but he had a podcast. He featured me, and that really helped to bring in some traffic into my website. Because I built that relationship with him one-on-one when I was small. Yeah. In any case, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about split testing, not building relationships. So the art of split testing is there's a couple things that you can do. First of all, there's tools. There's plenty of tools out there that you can use for split testing. I've used plenty myself. My favorite one, just because it hits two birds with one stone type of thing, is through Leadpages. We've mentioned Leadpages before, coderstartup.com/Leadpages. Fantastic tool because you can use it to build the websites where you're going to be collecting these email addresses and trying to make sales. And at the same time, it grants you a very easy way to split test. Okay. And this is where you can do more than just A/B testing. You can create as many variations as you like, and it will sort of allow you to tweak and to split the traffic between all those different variations. So for example, I could take my first web page that has the button that says, sign up for my course. I could take the same web page, copy it into another variation, and then say, start the course now as the button. And then I can create another variation and change the color of the button. And then I can create another variation and maybe change the header and go crazy with that kind of thing. And then you'll see as the traffic comes in, Leadpages splits it up equally into 25% parts of those 4 variations. And it will start to track and tell you which ones have the best conversion rates. It shows you the improvement in terms of conversion rate over the others, and it gives you sort of a percentage of what's the word? How much it feels like this is going to be the winner.
It's improved, yeah. So like the
confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. So it tells you the confidence that it has in those numbers. So when it comes to Leadpages, you need a lot of traffic for it to hit a 96 to 98 to 100% confidence level. So that's where you use your own discretion. Usually you can identify a winner, within a week or two if you have enough traffic. So anyway, I like Leadpages, but if you find Leadpages to be too expensive, there's plenty of other tools. I know there's Optimizely or something like that, I think is another tool.
Optimizely I know is one.
Yeah.
There's so many, and you can search just split testing tools and you'll find all different ones that have kind of different looks and feels that fit what you're trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. Now, like I said, I've tried Optimizely before. It gave me some issues when it came to videos. I wanted to try to split test different videos on the same page, and you had to implement some sort of, I think, special HTML and JavaScript code, which is fine for us coders. But even then, it was strange, and it just didn't do the job. So I found that just for that particular situation, it wasn't as good as Leadpages. But I think for any other situation, if you're not getting into, swapping out video, which was iframes, they were iframes, and that's where it had problems. If you're just using standard div elements or whatever, that kind of thing, then it's fine. It'll do the job just fine. It'll be a lot cheaper for you as well. So plenty of tools out there to test things out, and very, very valuable. So if you don't have any other tools that we could throw at the audience, I want to get into the parts in which you can insert the tests in your funnel. Let's definitely do that. So I'll let Carter take it away because I've been talking too much. Carter can sort of fill you in on the fun that we had before we recorded this video.
Oh, yeah. So we knew we were going in this talking about split testing, and Trevor is way more experienced at split testing than I am. I need to get a lot better at it. I'm very impatient. I'll run a test, and after a week, be like, "This is the winner." And Trevor will ask me how much data I've collected. But we were trying to figure out basically, where in your funnel is it the most important to start testing? And immediately, both of us were like, "Well, obviously, it's at the beginning where the most traffic is coming through." And then we started playing around with it. And if someone out there can prove us wrong or debunk this, whatever, please do, because it was so interesting. We did decision charts. We did all this mathematical mapping. And what we realized was it really didn't matter where you implemented the change. If you basically kept the improvement equivalent at any point along the funnel, it had the same outcome. So what we mean by that, let's say you were increasing performance by 10%. If it was, if you had traffic coming into your funnel, and then the conversion from emails to or sign up for emails I'm getting all worded. Anyways, it was
It was the same. It was the same regardless. So I think the words I haven't written out here in front of me. So if you're going from traffic, converting traffic into an email lead, that could be considered like the start of your funnel, right? That's the very first time that someone gives, performs a transaction, because it really is a transaction, is what I've said before. Even though there's no money exchanged, just the process of them giving you their email address should be considered a transaction, because it's that important. That's the first step in the funnel. And then my example that I wrote down here, hypothetically speaking, was taking the leads, the email leads, and converting them straight into sales. Okay, that's a very direct path. Sometimes some people have different paths that you can take there, but that's just the example that we chose. So right from leads to sales, and then from sales into upselling. So upselling them into an additional product or something like that. So we were looking at increasing the conversions. Let's say you're converting currently at 10%, which means if you have 10,000 visitors a month, you're getting on average 1,000 leads per month. That means you have a 10% conversion rate, because 1,000 is 10% of 10,000. Hopefully we're all smart enough to understand that math. Versus if you get down to the bottom of the funnel, if it's 10% conversion rate all the way through, so 10% from traffic to leads, and then 10% from leads to sales, and then 10% from sales to upselling, if you make an increase in your conversion, like let's say you ran a split test on a button to get them to sign up for your email list, and that increased your conversion rate by like 10%. Then you run those numbers all the way through, and at the bottom you come out with, what was it? You come up with 20 upsells, right? So if you have 20% conversion rate at the top, and then 10, 10, 10 all the way down, you end up with 20 upsells and 200 or 100 sales. But if you convert at the very bottom better, then it stays the exact same. You still have the same amount of upsells, but everything else is a little bit different in the funnel. So it was kind of, I guess, for that, if you're doing the upselling, then it matters on what price you're charging for your actual product. So I don't know. It seems like the numbers are the same until you get into monetary value differences between the parts in your funnel.
Yeah.
But
if you're just doing increases versus split testing price points, then
it's different.
It's a great mathematical riddle, and it makes no sense. Like, we were both like completely convinced, and we were just like double checking, and then we were scratching our head like, what is going on? I'm all digital still. Because
the knowledge that I've learned from other podcasters and from other business people is that it's better to improve the very top of your funnel. If you can improve the top, everything else down below will be better. But it just didn't work out that way when we looked at the sales. So I don't know.
It's like a direct route. And now that we're talking about it, I guess, you improve the top of the funnel, you get more people in your funnel, you can market to them more often versus just one campaign, which is kind of what we were taking into account. So maybe that's the argument, I don't know, but it's funny, just the mathematical side of it.
Yes. So in any case, I think the important lesson to come out of this conversation, I just grammatically messed that up. The important thing that you should gain from this conversation that we've been having about split testing is that you should focus on improving every single aspect of your sales funnel. Okay, to the point where I didn't tell Carter this yet. I actually reached out on the Smart Passive Income Facebook group, which I'm absolutely loving. I love the guys in that group. I will promote it. It's free to join. I will promote it until my dying days, because I love Pat Flynn to death. So there you go, Pat Flynn. You're welcome. Get into his Smart Passive Income community. It's wonderful. So I posted a question there saying, you know what, guys? I've been so focused on developing a new course. I have a new JavaScript course that I'm creating. I'm about 50% done, which is awesome.
You're doing fantastic.
My productivity has been improving. I should probably talk about productivity too in another video. But the point I'm getting at is that I'm so focused on building out this course that I've been neglecting my split testing. And split testing is so important to me, so close and dear to my heart, that I went to this Smart Passive Income community and I put out a request saying, is there anyone out here who knows about split testing, who works with split testing, whose business is around split testing? And if there are, I want to hire you today. So
did you get a response?
I got a response from, that's what I was saying. I was talking to Lisa from the Beyond 13 group.
Gotcha.
Lisa one of our friends from the foundation group from 2000, what was it, 13 or 12 that we started? 2012, I think, started. Anyway, she referred me to a group and posted something in a group where there's a bunch of people who are all about split testing. So, I mean, I said that I would be willing to pay up to $1,000 a month for someone to be working on my split testing. Right now in my business, I will pay $1,000 a month for this. So it's important. That's I'm willing to put the money where my mouth is for this one. So having said that, getting back on topic, on point, test every single part of your sales funnel. Okay. Don't just go in there and say, oh, I want to, always just do split tests on trying to improve the email leads that I get. That's great. And I'm guilty of this too. That's, getting the start of your funnel tweaked is sort of the easiest way to do it. The harder place to do it is to get more sales out the bottom, right? The harder thing that you can do is, well, how are you going to split test that? So that's where you get into things like, okay, the emails that you're sending out to people, how do you split test an email? Right? Usually when it comes to split testing emails, the email service, or not email service providers, what do you call them? The email marketing service providers, like the MailChimps, the GetResponse, Aweber, all those ones. They usually allow you to split test the subject line. Okay. Which is very important. If your software, your email software has that capability, and you're not using it, then you need to get on that. Okay. I've done that before. And there are, again, small word changes that you can make that will lead to significant improvement in people opening up your email, right? Because that's, again, when it comes to funnels, this is like a micro funnel. You're talking about the people who you sent the email to, how many people open it versus how many people click on it. That's a little funnel in and of itself. I email it to 100 people. 20 people will open it and 5 people will click on it. So it's the same thing. Where can you make the improvement? The more people open it, the better they are, the more chance they have to click on it, et cetera, et cetera. So every single level you should be split testing. And sometimes it's not easy. And then you need to get into, doing stuff like using, Excel spreadsheets or something like that to track different tests that you've done for maybe the word on a button inside of your email. That gets difficult. Because really the best way, the most scientifically accurate way to do a split test is if you can do them at the same time. So here's an example of a split test that I don't think I would place much confidence in. For example, the month of April, I'm going to set the prices of my course to be $100. See how many sales I get in the month of April. And then in the month of May, I'm going to increase it by $100. And then I'm going to see how many sales I get in the month of May. And then in the month of June, I'm going to decrease it to $50 and see how many, you can see what I'm getting at here. It's not exactly apples to apples when you do it that way. So when you're split testing, try your very best to make sure that it's happening at the same time. All right? That makes sense? Makes sense.
Totally. And I don't know, you left it off a little bit, but what you were saying, like the exact same time, because what you were going back to is, that's a different traffic source, like we were talking about earlier today, the different cycles with your traffic, all sorts of other factors that come into play. So you want to make that's a control group? I never was good at you want to make sure it's not necessarily there is going to be a control group, but you can only sample population. That's what I was looking for.
Exactly. Your sample has to be the same sample, right? You have to be testing on that same sample. And it's different if you're testing, one time versus another. And what Carter was getting at there, my traffic dropped from my blog and it kind of set off alarm bells on my end of my business. And then I realized that it dropped because I have a fairly seasonal business. So typically around the end of April, the actual people that I have going through my course goes down because they are in school, or rather they're finishing school at the end of April. So less students are in school, therefore less people are interested in learning about coding, because that's usually the people that are interested in learning about coding tend to check it out when they're in school. So that's a great example of why a split test would have failed for me if I started in April and then gone to May and June, right? There's just different people coming through there entirely.
Totally.
There we go. We've beaten that one down. But getting back to my point, it's also important to identify, to be able to know at what points in your funnel you should even do a split test. So I've identified a couple already. One is when you first get the leads, when you first are pitching them to give you their email address. Beautiful, beautiful point to do that. The next is getting those emails to be open by the people when you send out your content to them. And one thing I've done to improve this, and I love this concept, this works well when you're using a more advanced email piece of email software like Infusionsoft, getting them to open the first email that you send them. It's the same kind of idea. If you can get them in and get them interested in your content sooner, then you're going to be doing better afterwards. So, for example, I send out 100 emails right now, or when I first started, about 20% were opening my email. Okay, that first email. But now what I'm doing is I'm sending out a reminder and I'm tracking that. I'm saying if they didn't open the email, I'm sending it to them again. I'm saying, hey, how come you didn't open this? What's going on? If they don't open it again, I send them an email saying, all right, this is like getting real here. This is going away in 2 days. If you don't click on this, I'm not going to offer this to you anymore, and the course is obsolete and you're not going to get it. It's bad, but I'm sort of threatening them because you need to. Sometimes you need to make people, kick them into action. So eventually I sent out 4 reminders to watch the same first video, to open the first bloody email that I'm sending them. And that's important because now I'm getting 50% of the people through. And once they watch that first video, they say, oh my God, I get this guy's great. I love the way he teaches. And then they're hooked, right? So that's a really good point. That's a really good place where the start of the funnel makes the most sense. Because if you try to get them to open the 5th email, which is the lesson number 5 or something, they're going to think, oh, I missed lessons 1 through 4, and he's pretty good, but I don't have time to go back, and so that's where you sort of lose the interest from people. You want to get them hooked right at the beginning. So sending out those emails, getting them to open it, and tracking that they've opened it, and if they haven't, reminding them again and again and again. Very important. Boom, 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 all the way through the funnel to right down to the bottom, which is like you're sending them to your sales page. So when they've shown interest, they've watched your video tutorials or whatever it is, your lessons or your ebook or something that you're emailing to them, you get them on the final part, which is, hey, buy my stuff, right? You know about me, you hopefully know me, like me, and trust me. Now's the time to buy my stuff. That's, of course, another area where you can improve. And this is one where I am guilty of not doing any split testing at the moment, which is why I want to outsource split testing to someone who's done this over and over again. I haven't made any changes to that last screen because in my mind, I feel like, well, they've already made the decision at that point. But that's not true. It's the wrong mindset to have. There are still things that you can do at the end of your funnel to convert them into a sale. So,
and to your point, there's so many things that you can split test. And I think you're going about it the right way. If you're hiring someone whose sole job and functionality is to split test, you can split test a ton of stuff. And I think for me personally, what's important for me just to remember is to focus on the traction and whatever it is that you're doing. And then once you really start scaling things up, that's when you get in a great position to split test and take advantage of all this awesome stuff that we're talking about. Yeah,
because that's because you can get there faster. You can get to a result faster for sure. The more and more people you have. And I mean, yeah, definitely that's a bonus for us people who have enough traffic. For those of you who don't, it's tough. But that's where, like I said, it's important to just talk to the people. Do the stuff that's not scalable. Reach out to them. See what they liked, see what they didn't like. I remember I sent out an email just to test something out because it was like some sort of scammy tactic. I forget the actual name of the blog post I had put out. It was something like the 5 most dangerous trends in, programming today, or so. So one of those. It's kind of like clickbait, is what they call it.
Yeah, the headline clickbait.
And they want to click on that and see what's going on. I did that, and I remember that was early on. I got feedback from someone immediately who said they didn't appreciate that. They felt like they could tell that it was a salesy tactic, and I was like, oh God. So I've never done that again. Again, that has nothing to do with split testing, but that's where I was able to pivot early because someone said that they didn't like it, and I figured if one person was saying it, probably many, many more were thinking it. So, all right, split testing, very, very important to do. The areas that you can split test, the ones that you can get the biggest bang for your buck. One is the call to action areas. So focus on your calls to action. Those are your buttons that appear in your actual sales pages or your pages where you're trying to get them to sign up for your email list or something like that, buttons make a big difference. Even color of the buttons make a difference. I think typically, or more or less on average, I think yellow tends to be the best in terms of a color that converts the best. But again, that's average. It doesn't mean that's going to be best for you. You could start with that as your base and then split test a different color as you see fit. If, based on a hypothesis, you say, oh, maybe blue works better with my design of my web page, so maybe I think blue will do better. That's the hypothesis part of the split test. And then you implement it and see what happens. A word of advice is try not to split test a whole bunch of things all at the same time, unless they all focus on one aspect of your page. So for example, you can test a yellow button at the same time as a green button, at the same time as a red button, at the same time as a whatever button. If all you're testing is colors across multiple split tests, that's great. That's fantastic, because then you're more or less comparing apples to apples. If you have a yellow button, and then you're split testing a yellow button with the word now, and then you're split testing a green button with the word soon, and then, you know what I mean? It's tough to really narrow in and focus in on, well, why is that working? What part of that split test is what's bringing in the bacon? What's making them click through? Is it the color, or was it the word? Or was it the combination of both? I really don't know. So make sure that you focus on one thing at a time. Is that good? Does that clear up something?
No, I think that's great. I think that's great. I was looking over my notes, and that was pretty much exactly what I had.
Okay, good. Very important to mention that. Yeah, because you can get carried away very easily with this stuff. And I know I've done it.
Everything.
Yeah, because and then there's other things where, if you want to make dramatic changes between two different split tests, then just make it 2 split tests. That's it, total. Mm-hmm. So for example, test one complete template, like say template A, split test it against template B as an A-B test, just 2 pages. That way you could say, okay, I realize this is a huge, massive change. The entire templates are different, maybe with different wording or something like that, different images, different colors, different everything. Then fair enough. You just do one versus the other. You let it go, and then from there, once you know the one who wins from those 2 tests, then you dive into it, and then you can start tweaking things like the wording on the buttons, the call to action buttons, and the colors and all that kind of thing. Then you can focus on that stuff. Beautiful. One more thing to keep in mind is it matters what the source of the traffic is, and I wasn't too aware of this before, and I'll give you the real world example for me. For me, I have 2 main sources of traffic. One is the organic blog traffic, the traffic that comes in through my blog. They've learned about stuff. They see that there's a course I offer. They click on it. They see my landing page that talks about the course and how they can sign up for free. Beautiful. They sign up. Versus Facebook ad traffic. So someone sees an ad in Facebook, clicks on the ad, goes to the same landing page, goes through, sees, learns about the course, and then chooses to sign up or not. The 2 different sources of traffic converted at vastly different conversion rates. And that was very fascinating to me. So I actually split it up into 2 different landing pages and was split testing the same template between both. And the same template converted way better, or let's say template A converted way better for Facebook traffic than it did for my blog traffic.
Wow.
And vice versa, template B was the complete opposite situation. Template B converted much better for my blog traffic versus my Facebook ad traffic. Okay?
Wow.
And that was what's the word? That was not what I was expecting, because the template that converted well for Facebook, or rather I should say the template that did not convert well for Facebook was the one that appeared most like the Facebook ad image. So a lot of stuff that you hear about is the landing page that they get sent to should sort of look like the image of the ad that you have in Facebook. So let's say, or my example was my Facebook ad image was a picture of like a sun in the sky with some green grass and some words on the page. And then the landing page was also the same thing: sun in the sky, green grass, blue sky, whatever. That one didn't convert as well as another one with just a person on a beach. So there's no green in it. It was all sand, very little blue sky. So it wasn't really the same. It wasn't the same image at all, but it converted better. So I was like scratching my head. And these are the things that split testing will give to you, because you don't know. The biggest lesson that you'll learn is you have no idea what your customers or potential customers or leads are thinking. You have no way of knowing. You can make an educated guess and then learn that your educated guess is actually the worst conversion template or whatever. So you never, ever know. One resource I can give that I find is a quick win in terms of learning about different split tests and whatnot is a podcast called Conversion Cast. And that is from the people who make Leadpages. His name is Tim Page. We share the same last name, although he spells his incorrectly. He spells the letter I, which is unfortunate. I don't know. Maybe there's some illiteracy in his side of the family. I don't know. But, in any case, I spell Page the correct way. But he has the podcast. He's the host, and I've spoken with him before. I've actually hired him to do. He's the one who did our intro for this podcast. Believe it or not.
Oh, no way.
He was the one, Tim Page is the voice that you hear, so that's why I'm poking fun at him.
Tim Page is actually on every podcast episode.
That's right, yeah. Exactly.
He's actually the third host.
He is. And I think he also does John Lee Dumas's intros as well for the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. In any case, he's a great host. He's a great guy, very friendly. He does, Conversion Cast. I would highly recommend you check out that podcast since you're clearly already listening to podcasts. Great show. You're going to learn a lot about split testing. I think that's where I learned about the now trick, adding the word now. I was like, oh, that's a great one. I can try that really quick. And boom, it made such a big difference in my business. So
yeah, I'm going to try that.
Great resource. And they're like 7 to 10 minute episodes usually. They're really quick, so you can listen to like 3 of them if you're driving to work. But have a notepad ready, because the ones that you hear, you're going to hear so many, you're going to lose track of them. So have a notepad ready or some sort of electronic recording device to write down the stuff that you learn so you can actually test it out. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I don't know what else I can bring to the table here for what we can talk about. Can you think of anything else?
You did 100 times better than what I thought it was going to be in terms of organizing this. Because honestly, when we first got on, I was like, what are we going to talk about? Like, I don't even know. There's so many broad things to talk about that it's hard to concentrate your focus on what it is. But yeah, I think you did a great job on it. I think there's definitely some actionable stuff. I'm looking over my notes. We covered everything that came to mind that I was going to share. I mean, obviously, again, you've done so much split testing. And I need to up my game in this area. So this has been a great one for me to take more notes of and stuff.
Yeah. And I just thought of one more thing. So thank you for that praise. I appreciate it. One more thing is when you are trying to think of the sort of, let's say if you're focusing just on the call to action button, if you're not sure of what you can put in there, first of all, let me back up. If you're going to do one thing, from this episode, one thing, just go in and first of all, find the software that you can use to do split testing. I guess that's really your one call. That's my call to action. Go out and find some software to do this, because it's totally worth the money. If you're selling a product, this split testing stuff is worth the money. Even if you're not selling a product and just building an email list, it's still so valuable. So that's really my one call to action for you. My second one is do one test. Okay? One test. Focus. I would love for you to focus on just the call to action button, because I think that's where you can really get the most bang for your buck. That's a great place to start. Just test the button. And if you don't know what to test for the button, for what text you can put in there, think of the different actions that you would tell someone to take when it comes to taking that action. So think of the verbs. Think of the, like for me, free email course. So it's like, what can you do? What are the verbs associated with a free email course? Well, there's sign up. Okay, so sign up for the course. There's register for the course. That's another verb that you can use.
Join.
Subscribe. These are all, think of all the different verbs and then try those out. That's a great way to just like, what are all the different ways that I can think about to tell this person to join? And even also try click here. sometimes that works very well. Click here to join, or click here now, or, just try that as well. Sometimes, again, you don't know what's going to work. You do not know what's going to resonate with your audience. So, try the things that you see all around anyway, because maybe there's a reason why you see the word click here everywhere, because it works, or just register now. I mean, you don't have to get too crazy with it. Or you can get really crazy and use big, long, huge, paragraphs of text to create a button.
I want to improve my education right now.
Yeah, like click here to take advantage of this 4-week, huge, massive, super course where you will learn. Sometimes that's crazy, but sometimes that works better.
It works,
right?
yeah.
So you never, ever know what is going to work when you're split testing. And I think that's the most exciting part for me when it comes to split testing is there's no really wrong answer when you're starting out. Just trying something is all you need to do. So first call to action, go out, find some sort of software to sign up for. It doesn't have to be Leadpages. It doesn't have to be through our affiliate link if you don't want it to be. I just love Leadpages personally. I think it's a great product. If there's going to be one that I have to pay for, or maybe two, because I would obviously do my email marketing software. But if there's two, the other one will be Leadpages. So coderstartup.com/Leadpages if you want to, give a tip of the hat to us and sign up for that software, then you can do it through that affiliate link. Or just go to Leadpages directly. I think it's leadpages.net. You do not use our affiliate link. It's perfectly fine. And just, sign up. That's your first call to action. Second one is take action and actually do one split test. So, cool. I think that's pretty good for wrapping it up. What do you think?
That's it. Yeah, that was a lot of information. So
that's a lot of information. I haven't kept track of how long this one was. Hopefully it wasn't too long. But if you're interested, I'm sure we can get you all the show notes are probably going to be available. I shouldn't say probably. They definitely are going to be available via codersstartup.com /29, because it's 29th episode. We're one away from the big 3-0. It's very exciting.
Look at that.
So go there, get the show notes. You'll have all the links. I'll put out the affiliate links at the bottom for the aforementioned resources that you can sign up for. And just take action. That's all I want you guys to do. I think that's the most important thing, and because it's so much fun. And hopefully on a future episode, I will give a follow-up to if I find anyone in terms of hiring them for split testing, and sort of give you guys a lowdown on how it went. I think that would be a good one just to. That
would be great.
Yeah, so for sure I'll be talking about that in a future episode as well. So, cool. And before you guys sign off, I want to, or Carter mentioned that he had an exciting announcement.
You held me to it.
So
I feel like we should delay it one more week, man.
No, we shouldn't.
No, you're excited.
Why do you feel like you should delay it? Come on.
Because you know what? It's one of those things, and people out there can probably relate to this, because I've been working on it like nonstop. I'm like drowsy and dizzy and almost like just in shell shock from it. What do you think? Should I tell people about it today or what? Just wait.
Well, keep in mind, I think we are usually about. You know what? Let's do something we haven't done before. I'm going to go to the Coder Startup live right now.
I know we're on a delay. All right.
We're on a delay. Let me see what episode was just released today, because we record on Thursdays and we release on Thursdays. Episode 26 was just released.
You know what?
Episode 29, so that'll give you 3 weeks.
I'm going to wait till next week. I'm going to do it because I'm going to have a special giveaway for people who check it out.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Even better.
So there we go. That's how he's going to spice up the deal. We're gonna tease the heck out of you with that. He's going to give a free giveaway, so that's awesome. So there you go. Next week, guys, in episode 30 for the big 3-0 reveal.
Everything's going to line up perfectly.
There you go. Beautiful. So until then, I hope you guys take action like we said. I hope you guys are having a heck of a time in your business. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns or anything like that, go to thecoderstartup.com, leave a message in our comment section, and we will hopefully get back to you within a reasonable amount of time. We're both very busy individuals, but I'm sure we will. And until then, take care of yourselves. And I wish you bon Dieu or adieu, whatever the saying is en français, and have a great one.
Sounds good. Till next time.
Cool. Peace.